Who was your role model, your influence, really to find yourself where you are now? And you've even abandoned being a doctor to be a politician.
I think growing up, my cousin brother, where I started to read about ANC stuff as a young girl. It was my cousin brother, may his soul rest in peace, Thabo Maseve.
Oh, okay.
Our mothers were sisters, our sisters. Unfortunately, his mother also passed on. Now, that's where I was interested in understanding. When I went to Medunsa, he was in Shell House, they were in the ANC Youth League, and that's where becoming very close. He was mentoring me. I will go and write an ANC, what is it, SRC manifesto. He will say, read for me, and I'll do that. So that's it. That's how it has always been, and until when I completed, when I arrived in Mukopane, I remember I told you that choosing Mukopane was political motivated. The comrades in Mukopane will tell you, I came there and looked for a branch of the ANC and a branch for the Communist Party at that time. And we built a branch in town. There was no strong branch in town. I started a branch during the demarcation. I was there when the branch was started, what 31. And also we started the South African Communist Party branch, and I was a secretary. At that time, I was a PC member of the Young Communist League, because we were relaunching the Young Communist League at that time. And I then served in that branch in the region of Waterberg until I go into the provincial executive committee since 2014. And that's where I am.
Interesting. But what happens when you decide you are a medical doctor, there's politics? How do you decide now, no, let me jump into politics, and what influences that? Because obviously these are two things. I think your heart was, maybe you had to cut it into two. Your love is divided here.
No, it's not at all. As I'm giving you see, when we were in medical school, I was asked that question by, I think, one professor, as I was busy defending students who were excluded. They told me, you should have been in the law. We don't need medical doctors who are here to reason and defend others. And I said, what is politics? I responded to that, Dean. Politics is about transformation. Education on its own, it's transformation. You yourself, by being a professor, you are a politician because you have transformed yourself from being an ordinary rural boy looking after cattle to be sitting here now and teaching and producing doctors for the country. Now it's still the same. When you are a medical doctor, you transform the lives of people.
Of course,
people are on the deathbed, you bring them back to life. That is, you transforming the lives of people. People who are, the quality of life is poor, you make it better. It's politics. Everything is about politics. So there was nothing that I did. When I graduate, and I was working in Mukopane, and I was an activist within the community, I having been orientated, reading what Che Guevara used to write about, to say, how do I sit in a consulting room and complain about people dying of TB because of overcrowding, people dying of waterborne disease because government is not providing clean water. There are certain diseases that we could easily prevent. Disease as a result of government policies where there's pollution, people are smoking, you are not regulating the sugar content, salt content in what your people are eating. He said, I can sit here and complain that the queue is long, or I can get out and take a gun and join the revolutionaries and fight and get power and change the water give them clean water, give them houses, there won't be TB, give them all those, deal with all these disease. The life expectancy of Cuban today is one of the highest, but being the poorest country, the number of doctor-patient ratio that they have today, because Fidel Castro and Che Guevara took that revolutionary consciousness. So hence I'm saying, I was in Mukopani and I says, sitting here and complaining when I can go and really become part of those who transform. I sat there, complain. We had only 2 ICU beds.
Yeah.
ICU beds in Mukopani Hospital, 2 for the whole region of Waterberg.
Yeah.
And sitting there when you and your wife are involved in an accident and there's only 1 bed available, I must choose who to. Now I'm playing the responsibility of God. It's only God who decides who dies and who live. Then that's when I said, do I sit here and continue, or do I lead these doctors and get them a proper trade union and go and fight the current regime to make sure that Mukopani does not have 2 ICU beds and I'm not subjected to the responsibility of God. So this, it's not separate, it's the same. That is when I get involved into the medical activism, wherein when I say to the minister, we need an anesthetic machine, I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for the people, so that when I operate them, they are safe. So that is what really has happened. And fast forward, they then bring me to say, come and resolve all the issues that you are complaining about. Because that's what they told me to say. Premier Matavata says, I'm told you have got all the memorandum that you have been submitting to Minister Mtswali. Many are talking about Limpopo issues. So come here, join me and resolve all those issues. You say you demand. And indeed, Mukopani had 2 ICUs. When I became an MEC for health, Mukopani has got how many? 40-something beds, 22 ICU. Then we've got 22 probably for adult, for children, for what? There was a lot that one could put. So I'm trying to say, you cannot separate yourself being a journalist. It's because you have seen the injustice that is happening somewhere. And you decide to say, if somebody doesn't speak about this injustice, who will? That's politics. So people who says, hey, these ones love to be politicians. It's not. It's about transformation. Politics, it's all about that. So if you are a politician and you are not driving by the eager to transform basically the lives of people, to serve humanity, then you are not a politician.
True.
You don't understand what politics is about. No. You know, Prof. Mukhokong used to say to us, and Dr. Gwen Ramukhup, when we get elected into the SRC, put a tea bag. If the water doesn't change color, there's something wrong. So when you get into the SRC and you don't change the lives of students, you go to negotiate with me and don't say the problem is with me, it's with you. You must be able to convince me and win the battle for your students. So it's all about that. So politics for me is transformation. I am for transformation and I want society to transform. So once you transform society, then there won't be a need to have politicians.
Yeah, of course. Now we are dealing with many sicknesses than when you were a doctor. I mean, they come in many forms. Service delivery, lack of service delivery and all of that.